Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative, and today we are going to be making a frog. I figure, you know, spring's supposed to be here, so I'm going to try and help it along a little bit more than what it's actually been coming towards me. So we're going to do a frog and see if that doesn't help out with the spring weather. I got these frogs from Temu, and I have to admit, I'm really impressed with the durability of these. And when I say that, like some of the molds you get from there can be kind of flimsy, but this frog mold that I've got is, you know, appears to be really well made, which is impressive. There was 2 in the pack. No, I don't remember how much I paid for them, but they're definitely, it's a good mold, which really impresses me. I see this as being something you could make out of mixed mold because of your small pieces. Yes, they're up here, but I think if you let it sit long enough, so longer than the hour, maybe 2 or 3 hours, I feel that you should be able to get the mixed mold out of there with little or no problem. Haven't tried it myself. Maybe that's something we can do for a future video. What are we going to be doing with this little guy in this video? Well, you know what? I was trying to be traditional, and I have decided I'm not going to be traditional. I am going to be using, so I had got at a garage sale these flakes in different colors. Okay. These ones. So I have a pink, a blue, and a green. The Recollections, they're shred glitter. I've got that. And then this is the Creatology pack, and I got this at Michael's. So the Recollections and the Creatology, these are both from Michael's. Dupe. And in different color, well, similar colors. So that's kind of what I'm going with. I'm going to sort of work with similar colors from all 3 of these. Well, I'm going to use these 3, and then from these I'm going to pick out. Anyway, I'm not adding any color. I'm not going to put any dyes in this. This is going to sort of be my glitter, if you will. And that's all we're going to do. I want just a bright, colorful frog. I'm going to, yeah, as I say, I'm sort of going against tradition of making this guy green. I had thought about putting in some of the chrome color into the feet, and I've decided I'm not doing that either. We're straight up going to make this just with this shredded glitter and glitz, and that's all this is going to be. And I think that'll be kind of interesting, especially if it gets put in the sun, how I'm hoping the sun will bounce off it with sort of just make it look unique and something totally different versus what a traditional frog may look like. I am going to make up about 130 mils for this guy, which may or may not be, I'm thinking it should be enough. I'm thinking 130 should be enough. I did put, I'm getting stuck up on the whole things in my mold. I think that's right in it. Anyway, I did fill this with water, and it took about 125. So I'm going to make 130 mils, and hopefully that will be enough. And if it's not, then I can just top that up while the video isn't running. I'm going to go get my resin ready and I'll get it all mixed up, and then we'll just throw our colors in. We'll pour. I am going to use the heat mat on this guy with my last video with the dish molds, if you will. It worked fine with the one that I didn't really think was set up the way I had thought it would, but it did fine, so we're going to do that as well. I'll get my resin mixed up. We'll come back. We'll mix all this stuff in, and we'll go from there. Okay, we can start adding our colors now. I did put this in my debubble machine, and I'm using a disposable cup because I don't want to have to clean this stuff out, because I can only imagine what I'm going to be dealing with if I had to clean it out. I'll put a little bit of every color in it, and then we'll mix it up, and we'll see how it looks before we pour it into our frog. I think this can be kind of cool that we're having such a mixed up colored frog. And as I say, I think it might be kind of interesting to see how the sun bounces off of this once I get it done. I'll have to take a picture of it once it's done off of my deck. And I want to get, I think, all of these like put in first before I start mixing it, and that way I can avoid any bubbles or adding more to it. And I really wish I could just take the lid off of this jar. I don't know how, like the top spins, but it's not, I don't know if there's any way to take it right off. And then I think I'll go with, I was going to go with the lighter pink, but I think we're going to go with the darker pink. This. So, anything exciting going on in people's worlds today? Anything uplifting? Anything? I'll take anything uplifting you want to share. Put it in the comments below. Want uplifting. For sure. I was going to put some of the purple in, or this magenta color, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to work with this lighter pink. Sort of different things, but trying to keep colors sort of close. I'll get this hopefully mixed in really well. I'll try and get my hand to the bottom so it's not I so try to keep it so you can see what I'm doing, and sometimes having or being right-handed is helpful, and other times, yeah, not so much. Now I'm also going to work on getting this right to the bottom, and because I mixed it for 5 minutes and I had it in my debubbler for 4 minutes, I might let it sit for a couple of extra minutes once I get this all mixed in, because I really do want this to be spread throughout. I don't want it settling. And when I had done, which piece was it? The pear, you know, with the lid that went totally south. Well, it didn't go totally south, did it? And I know I'm digressing. I did look at finding something I could use as, call it the handle on it, but what I got is, it's too big, so I'm going to have to work on it. One of my subscribers had commented about using leaves, which I think is a good idea, and I just have to go find a leaf mold. I know I have one here in my world somewhere, and doing that. And I haven't given a lot more thought to the making another stem. I haven't really given a lot more thought to that. So we're still sort of sitting on the fence with what we're going to do. But one of the things I did love about doing the pear was the fact that my glitter in the body of the pear, I mean, it was suspended really well in that, which really pleased me. And it was because, and going by that video that I included, with just letting it warm up. And I'm sure other resin artists have done that. I'm sure that's not, you know, the first person, but I just happened across it and I thought, well, this is interesting. So, well, if I can, there's a little warmth to that. Not a lot, but there's a little warmth to that. I had a yellow and an orange in this stuff that I've got here, but I didn't want to do those two colors. So I might do them with something else. And then I had thought about taking, because I have so much glitter, I had thought about, you know, just using one particular glitter. And again, being what this is, I could see doing that in something smaller, but I think this is too big. Again, I'd have to let it sit for a while, and depending on what the glitter was, it may not float well. So I'd have to let it warm up, because for some of them I think I'd have to use a full bottle. It looks so pretty though, right? So I'm just imagining the sun being able to reflect off of all these beautiful colors. I think it'll look kind of neat. I think I'm going to put some more in there. I feel like I don't have enough. And can you really have too much glitter? I know the answer to that is probably yes, depending on who you are. And I respect that. I'm going to have to use my masking tape to get the glitter off my pad here. And I have a little bit of a tip for you on this heating pad if you happen to have it. I'll share that with you. And always remember to plug it in. I don't plug it in until I've got my piece poured, because I just don't want to do that. So I sometimes, like the other day, it was like, okay, this isn't, like I check it to make sure it's warming up, and it wasn't warming up, and I went, oh, well, Natalie, that would be because, wow, you haven't plugged it in yet. So you may be an individual who just plugs it in and goes, but I just prefer not to. Yeah, see, I really wish I could figure out how. So if anyone knows how to get the lids off of these Recollection bottles, let me know, please, because I would love to know how to do that. I think I have enough in there. And the only other one I might put more in of is that one blue in the Creatology, because it's just such a pretty color, and it just sparkles so well. And I do want this guy to be glittered. Yeah. Just get those off to the side. I don't want any more of them. Yeah, so this is what we're looking like. And I think it's going to look pretty cool. And I feel like we've got quite a bit in there, so I'll show you what it looks like. There we go. Right? I think we've got quite a bit of different, like, it's definitely going to sparkle in the sun, I think. Okay. Alrighty. So I just want to wipe my stick off. I have to use that a little bit, but the majority of the resin off of that. So we'll get our frog set up. Put him there. Now, my tip is, you can't see. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this down before. So this little piece here that's on the end, it's raised up. And I know they had commented when you're using this mat to put something on all four corners to hold it down. Well, this piece I just slide mine to the end so it's sitting at the, like beyond my table, so that this is more flat. The other day when I did my, was it my bowls, my plates, whatever you want to call them, I did that and I found that I didn't have to put anything on the four corners. So just that it's sitting at the, like beyond the edge of your table seemed to help. So I just thought I'd point that out as a tip for you. So let's get to pouring this guy. I had thought about doing his eyes in some sort of color, but I changed my mind on that. And I might, when we're done, is take either one of my chrome markers or one of my metallic markers that I've got and just filling them in that way. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it looks. Okay, and as per usual, I'm just gonna get and make sure that that's sort of running everywhere it needs to, up in at the head. And I'm seeing some things in my mold. You gotta love dust particles, right? And the likeness of. So again, I just slowly move it around. You're used to this by now. All right. Let's get this. I just want to make sure we get everything into the eyes where I want it. Okay. Yeah, I can feel it warming up now. I think we should be good as far as it not sinking. And we'll get some into these back legs. And I think what I'm going to do is let some flow down these front legs. And if there's a proper term for, you know, front and back legs on a frog, let me know. Biology wasn't a study of mine. I'm sure I took it in one of my high school grades, but again, not my not my thing. I loved history, though. I did love history. Alright, I'm very, very hopeful that I have enough resin here. That I had close to 150 that it actually ended up making. So basically by accident. It was kind of funny because I thought the cups I were using went up, was it by 10? No, by 5s. Anyways, I ended up pouring more than I needed to, which may be a good thing. Yeah, I think we're going to be really lucky. I think we're going to have this just float nicely. Now, I just want to make sure that I'm seeing what they look like bubbles, but I'm actually thinking all it is the stuff I've put in it. So I just want to turn this guy around and make sure. Yeah. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking good. Okay, so we'll leave them like this. Okay, let's get some of this going down his feet again. Legs, feet. Yikes. These little spots where you go to pour and then you end up spilling it where you don't want it. I just figure maybe if I start in the feet, it might help with getting some into the claw areas. I know. Terminology, right? Okay, so let's get some of that moved into the feet. I'll use this and my other glasses. Using my dotting tool. These things are amazing for what you can use them for. And I'm doing this so I can hopefully avoid air bubbles. And I definitely probably going to be a little gun shy on the whole alcohol thing, right? Because of my incident with my pear stem. I can see with these glasses, I can see sort of dribblings of some air bubbles. And I'm appreciating that the stuff I've put in is still floating and hasn't sunk. I very much appreciate that. I am gonna spritz it once I'm done with alcohol. Just making sure it's flowing into the feet now. I'm going to do my best to see that it's up where it needs to be. I feel like I'm touching my resin. Smoke goes up into the air. I think we have got this pretty good. As far as having it into all the little claws. I just pour a little bit more in it. I've got some left, so we'll kind of get an idea how much is left. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. I feel like I've got them right up just to the top of it. Should have wiped that. Just do a little check. I can see these glasses are great for being able to see what I can't see with my other glasses. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we've got it right up to the top. Everything seems to be holding. I think I don't want to... Yeah, I think I'm just going to use my lighter. I was going to spray the alcohol, but I heard that if you do that and it breaks the... because I've got some stuff that's sort of close to the top, that if I'm not careful, that the alcohol will end up causing it to go over the mold edges, and I do not want that to happen. So we'll have to I'll have to pay attention to it. Now I could take some of this resin out to avoid that. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on the heat. And I'm expecting some of these bubbles will, take care of themselves. And yeah, we'll let it go for 4 hours just because of the size of this guy. How much resin have we got left over? So we kind of have an idea on that. So as I said, I did about 150. We may have, I hate that I can't really tell 100% on this, but we may have about 15 mil left. I'd say between 15 and 20 mil left. So I think if I'd made 130, I'd probably have been okay with this. So I'm going to clean up my mess. I'm going to turn on, plug in my mat, get all this other stuff off of it, and then I'll keep an eye on it. We'll come back in about 4 hours, and we should be able to take this guy out of the mold and see how he turned out. And fingers crossed that my glitter and whatnot continues to stay sort of spread throughout it. And what am I going to make with the rest of my resin? Well, that'll be a surprise for you. I'll see you in a few hours. Okay, we are ready to take our frog out. I made some of these pieces, and I had the leftovers, so I thought, let's see what we can do. And my thought is that I was thinking of making a drop necklace with these 3 pieces. So whether we start with the one at, the biggest one at the top, and then we go, down like this. But that's sort of my thought with these 3 pieces, is that I could, make a necklace out of them, like make a drop necklace. And my only unfortunate about the small one is it doesn't have as much glitter as the first and second, and it's interesting because as you go down, there's less glitter. And this one, I put some alcohol ink in, just to play in it a little bit. And I sometimes think you have to be careful of what the depth is of your pieces so that, you get a nice spread of the alcohol ink, and that really didn't happen too much on that one. So I might do something different with it. But I do like the idea of making, a bit of a drop necklace with this. I think that would look kind of cool. So that was sort of my thought process with those pieces being made. Now, let's get our frog out. How long was he on the heat mat? He was on for about 3 hours. I had thought he might take 4. However, I was, checking him out. Now, I am definitely going to let this sit for, obviously a day or two, to do some more curing up and get, have, especially his feet here, because they are so delicate. I'm going to want to let them sit for a little bit, and that's why I'm being very careful getting this out. I don't want to break them off, so I'm being cautious with them, because I find if you break resin, trying to put it back on isn't exactly the easiest. So I want to be really careful with these guys. And as much as we've heated it up to get it to set, again, I think you just want to be careful so you don't damage anything. So this may be tedious to watch. I I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm just going to say I get it, but I don't want to break anything. So let's pull that out of there like that. And then get this going. There we go. Just again. And I found that pulling it out on here too helped to get it around those pieces, like the feet, the little toenails, fingers, call them whatever you want to call them. Again, not doing biology, I don't know exactly what they're called. Feet work. Maybe it'll be easier now that I've got this back part done. And I want my gloves on because I really don't want, and I can still feel the heat coming out of this thing, so okay, just give me. Okay, let go. Let go. Okay, we're going to have to keep working it from this side, I guess. Okay, just get that out of there. Okay, I'm going to be really careful. There we go. Let's head out. Come on, just very carefully. Don't force it, and there we go. And there, ooh, he looks cool. Alrighty, so we definitely have, I think some of it might have sunk to his top of him, but oh my gosh, I'm loving how his feet look. I'm actually preferring the fact that there's not all kinds of glitter in there. I think that looks kind of cool. So yes, I say we have glitter throughout this cute little guy. But I love how his feet have come out. I like that there's not a lot of glitter in those. Yeah, I do like that. I like that a lot. So with him being warm like he is, I just want to let him sit and just sort of set himself up. I'll be leaving him overnight. As far as his eyes go, I'm going to think a little bit about that. I did some research online because I wanted to know that if I had done his eyes, what color. So red, gold, blues. Was green in there too? I'm not really I can't remember green. There are about 4 colors that are sort of standard colors for frog eyes. And we will let him sit. I will give some thought to his eyes because I think it'd be nice if we could distinguish his eyes to sort of set them apart. So I'm gonna give some thought to that, what I want to do with that. I will post pictures of him on my Facebook page once he's had some time to set up, once I've had some time to determine what I want to do for his eyes. I know some people have bought eyes that they glue, when I say glue in, they use UV resin and get them set into place, and then they pour the resin. And it's been mentioned that you want to be careful when you're pouring your resin in that it doesn't dislodge the eyes. So, but you know what? He turned out pretty decent, I think. And I really do like his feet. I love that there's not a lot of glitter in those. And I think in the sun, he is going to rock it. Now, I think there's possibility where you could potentially, so at the back here, there's a bit of a seam, if you will. And it's part of the mold. It's part of the way it's supposed to be, right? Because if you think about it, when he jumps, his legs will come out from behind. So there's a bit of a seam there. And I guess there's a possibility that you could define that seam, but I am not going to. I'm going to leave him. The only thing I'll give some thought to are the eyes. But I like my frog. I do like my frog. And there's not a lot, so in his front here, there's not a lot from a glitter perspective. Most of his back, like, so some of it did sink, fair enough. But I like the fact that we didn't lose it all to the bottom of this guy. But yeah, I think of everything. I love his feet. I think they turned out really well. Anyway, let me know what you think of the frog. If you've ever done one like this, if you would do one like this. Again, I'm trying to think outside the box and do stuff that's different, original, not status quo. And yeah, so let me just bring him up. Nope, don't do it like that. There you go. But I think my frog turned out pretty cool, if I do say so myself. And it sort of lends itself. One of the other things I thought about doing is I have some colored stone, colored glass, and I had thought about doing that, but I was not sure how much I would need of, you know, that to do it. And I almost think you would want to put it into the mold, like get your combination of sand, because I have sand over there too, and figure how much you would need and then mix it up. But yeah, I think Mr. Frog here, or Miss Frog or Mrs. Frog here, is going to really catch the sun nicely. And again, the feet have caught my attention. So let me know whether you like the whole thing, or if the feet fit for you, or what you think, and stay tuned for it to be posted on my Facebook page. Thank you for watching and coming along on another journey with me when I, you know, come up with neat and unusual ideas, hopefully, and some tips and tricks for you along the way. Have a great creative day. Take care, and bye for now.